Hello everyone. I welcome you again to the lecture series of object-oriented programming using C++. We'll be going to study function overloading, constructor and destructor in today's lecture. What do you understand by function overloading? Function overloading is a feature in C++ where two or more functions can have the same name but different parameters. Function overloading can be considered as an example of polymorphism in C++. Function overloading is a C++ programming feature that allows us to have more than one function having same name but different parameter list. When I say parameter list, it means the data type and the sequence of the parameters. For example, the parameter list of a function, my function, integer a, comma float b is integer, comma float. This is one function. In function overloading, you can create another function by same name, my function, and then you can put the parameter list like float a, float b. So here the parameter list is float, comma float, and in the first function it was int, comma float. So the compiler will consider these two functions as different function with same name. Here is an example of function overloading. We'll start the program by including the IOStream file. Then we have created three functions named as print. In the first print function, I have passed integer variable. In the second print function, I have passed the double variable. In the third print function, I have passed a constant pointer C, a character variable. So you can see here we have used the concept of function overloading with the same name but different parameter list. In the first print, the parameter is int. In the second print, the parameter is double. And in the third print, the parameter is character. So while declaring the main function of this particular program, you have to simply call the function. Since we have not used class here, so you will not create any object. You can do function overloading in the class as well. So in the main function, you have to call the print function, then you have to pass the integer variable. For the double type of parameter, you have to call the print function and pass the double variable, double type of variable. And for the character type of variable, you have to pass the characters to the print function. So you'll get the output as 10, 10.1 and TEN. And you have written here is character in cout, so that will be printed as it is. Here is character pointer, here is float, here is int. So these lines will be, these characters will be printed as it is. And in place of I, F and C, as you can see in the function body, you have written I, you have written F also, you have written C also. So in place of these three variables, you will get the value because these three variables are not in double quotes. Whatever you will write in double quotes, that will be printed as it is on the output screen, and the value, if you want the value of that particular variable, then you don't put that particular variable into the double quotes. Simply write the name of the variable and you will get the value of that particular variable on the output screen. So this was about function overloading. You can use the concept of function overloading in class as well. So now whatever program you have created in C, all the function programs which we have created in C can now be converted into the C++ programs, and you can use the concept of function overloading as well. Like for example, you must have created in C a program for creating, for calculating the area of square, rectangle, etc., etc. So now you can use the concept of function overloading and you can recreate that particular C program into a C++ program by using the concept of function overloading and class. Next is constructor. A constructor is a member function of a class which initializes objects of a class. In C++, constructor is automatically called when object is created. It is a special member function of the class. So how constructors are different from a normal member function? A constructor is different from normal functions in following ways. Constructor has same name as the class itself. Constructors don't have return type. Keep this thing in mind. Constructors don't have return type. The name will be same as the class name. A constructor is automatically called when an object is created. By far, each and every program you have created, there was a default constructor in each and every C++ program. Although we have not discussed about constructor before, but there was a default constructor present in all the C++ programs we have discussed so far. If we do not specify a constructor, C++ compiler generates a default constructor for us, expects no parameters and has an empty body. So by far all the C++ program was containing a default constructor with no parameters and empty body. And if you specify a particular constructor, then that particular constructor will be there in the particular program. And if there is no constructor, then a default constructor will be supplied by the C++ compiler. So the types of constructors, number one, default constructors. Default constructor is the constructor which does not take any arguments. It has no parameters. As you can see, here we have created a class by the name construct. I have used the public specifier, then I have declared two variables, integer a and b. Then the constructor, as I have already told you before, the name of the constructor will be the same as the class name. So the class name here is construct, so the constructor name will also be construct. Here I have constructed the values of a and b as 10 and 20. Now, as I've already told this before, that the constructors are called, default constructors are called automatically at the time you create the object. So how you will create the object? We all know this thing by using the class name, then space, then object name. So as and when you write this particular sentence, automatically the default constructor will be called and the values of a and b will be set equals to 10 and 20. As these two values are declared under the public access specifiers, so you can call them from outside the class as well by using the object and dot operator. As you are seeing in this code as well, cout c dot a, because it was a it was specified under public access specifier, so we can call the attributes from outside the class as well. If it was declared under the private section, then this particular statement cout c dot a would have given you an error. But in this case, you will not get any error because it is declared under the public access specifier. So cout c dot a and cout c dot b will give you 10 and 20 as output. So you can see the output as well. Even if we do not define any constructor explicitly, the compiler will automatically provide a default constructor implicitly. So keep this thing in mind. A default constructor is always present in your C++ program. Next is parameterized constructors. It is possible to pass arguments to constructor. Typically, these arguments help initialize an object when it is created. To create a parameterized constructor, simply add parameters to it the way you would add to any other function. When you define the constructor's body, use the parameters to initialize the object. Let's have a look at the example. So this was the parameterized constructor. We have created a class by the name point. Then I've used the private access specifiers and declared two attributes x and y. Then I have used the public access specifier and declared and defined a function by the name, defined a member function, a special member function. That is a constructor by the name of the class, that is point. Here it is a parameterized constructor, so we have to pass the values as well. So I have passed two values into this constructor, integer x1, integer y1. I have set the values of x1 equals to x1 and y equals to y1. Then there is another normal function get x, which is returning the value of x, and the normal get y function with the return type integer and which is returning by variable. So when the main will be called, you at the time of creating the object, you have to pass the value as well. This is very, very important. By the time you will create the object, same time you have to pass the values also in the case of parameterized constructor, otherwise you will get an error. If you will not pass 10 and 15 at the same time you are creating the object, then this will not work. You will get an error. So in the case of parameterized constructor, when the object is called, at the same time, you have to pass the values also. So we can call the normal functions as well, p1.getX and p1.getY. So when you will write p1.xy, get x function will be called. When you will write p1.getX, then getX function will be called. When you will write p1.getY, getY function will be called. Get y will give you the value of y, get x will give you the value of x. You can see the output as well, 10 and 15. When an object is declared in a parameterized constructor, the initial values have to be passed as arguments to the constructor function. The normal way of object declaration may not work. The constructors can be called explicitly or implicitly. So the explicit call is like this. Example E equals to example 0, 50, and the implicit call, as I've used in the previous example, we generally use the implicit call. It is short and easier as well. So you can use any type of call you want to, explicit or implicit. I generally use implicit call. The uses of parameterized constructor. It is used to initialize the various data elements of different objects with different values when they are created. It is used to overload constructors. Can we have more than one constructors in a class? Yes, it is called constructor overloading. Similar, as we have studied function overloading, you can also perform constructor overloading by naming the constructor 3 times or 4 times, any number of times in a class, and just what you have to keep the difference in, you have to put different parameter list in each and every type of constructor you put in. Copy constructor. A copy constructor is a member function which initializes an object using another object of the same class. So here is the detailed article on copy constructor. Whenever we define one or more non-default constructors with parameters for a class, a default constructor without parameters should also be explicitly defined, as the compiler will not provide a default constructor in this case. Yes, when there is already a constructor in the class, default constructor will not be provided by the compiler. However, it is not necessary, but it is considered to be the best practice to always define a default constructor. So here is an example of copy constructor. We have created a class by the name point. I've created a double variable under the private access specifier. There is you have to keep this thing also in mind, that the constructors will always be declared under the public access specifiers. You can define normal functions under the public and private access specifier, anything you want to, but the constructors are always defined under the public access specifiers. They are never ever defined under the private access specifiers. And the normal functions also, we generally do not define them under the private access specifiers, because then in that case, we will not be able to use them from main. So then there is no point of creating such type of functions. So in general, we always define normal functions also under the public access specifier. And for the constructor, this is the rule. You cannot define any constructor under the private access specifier. It has to be under public access specifier only. So we have by using the in the main function, as we have seen, we have defined an array of size 10 and of type point. So this line will give you an error, because in the above where we have declared the constructor, you can see that I have passed 2 variables. So this will not work. So you have to write like point B equals to 0.5, 6. So this is how that particular constructor will work. And point A and array size 10 will not work. This will give you an error. because that particular return type is not there. That particular argument list is not there. So you cannot call point A and in the brackets 10. You have to use point B equals to 0.5 comma 6. So the output will be like this. Error point double px expects 2 arguments, 0 provided. If you will not write point B equals to 0.5 comma 6, you will get this type of an error, because it expects 2 arguments and none is provided. So you'll get an error. Next is destructors in C++. They are the member functions in a class that deletes an object. They are called when the class object goes out of scope, such as when the function ends, the program ends, a delete variable is called. Also, destructors have the same name as their class and their name is preceded by a tilde sign. Here is the example of destructor. We have created a class demo, then under the private access specifier, I have declared 2 attributes and or the 2 variables, number 1, number 2. Under the public, I have created a constructor and assigned the values n1 to num1 and n2 to num2. There's another function called as display, wherein I have displayed the values of number 1 and number 2. Then I have created a destructor by using the tilde sign and the name of the class, that is demo. So in the main section, you can see as it was a parameterized constructor, at the time you create an object, you have to pass the values as well. So I have passed 10 and 20. So the values will be assigned when the function will be called obj1.display. So number 1 will get 10, number 2 will get 20. So you do not have to call explicitly the destructor. It will automatically be called when the object's work is over. So in the above program, the class demo contains a parameterized constructor that initializes num1 and num2 with the values provided by n1 and n2. It also contains a function display that prints the value of num1 and num2. There's also a destructor in demo that is called when the scope of the class object is ended. So this was about destructor. So today we have studied the 3 most important topics of C++, and you will definitely get the questions in the university exams as well relating to these 3 topics, that is function overloading, constructor and destructor. The various types of constructor is a frequently asked question in the university exams. And programs will also come on these topics. So try to be hands-on with this topic. Thank you so much for listening to this lecture. I hope the lecture was clear to everyone. Have a good day.